I feel that prehab is one of the most important and crucial factor when we talk about physiotherapy and injury management. Psycho being they are coming from mind,
Mind.
and soma is basically body.
Okay.
We are both having the same intention that that person, that athlete should perform better and should be successful.
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Coach Talk. This is Pratik Patil. Today I have a honored guest, Dr. Supriya Joshi. Welcome to my channel, ma'am.
Thank you.
Dr. Supriya Joshi is a sports physiotherapist. At the same time, she is the founder of Cura Physiotherapy Clinic. She and her team has cured over 11,000 plus patients till the date. At the same time, ma'am, being a medical practitioner, has become a certified lifestyle coach as well. So, ma'am, again, welcome to my channel.
Thank you.
So, ma'am, welcome to my show again. Let's jump on to the first segment, wherein the first segment says about prehab over rehab. So, I have heard about rehab means whenever I personally myself get injured, so there is a process called rehabilitation where I visit the clinics and get it done. But what exactly does this prehab stand, and how can it imbibe or help the athletes or a common man to get into the shape? Is it a something that is avoiding a major setback, or setback has been happen, major setback has been happen, and you're gonna prevent it? Is it that sort of a stuff? Because it's quite a bit confusing term.
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you, Pratik, for inviting me on your podcast. I feel that prehab is one of the most important and crucial factor when we talk about physiotherapy and injury management. See, as a physiotherapist, we are experts in habilitation.
Right.
Okay, so habilitation means you are either learning a new skill or you are excelling the existing one. Okay, and we are talking about muscles here, we are talking about joints here. Okay, now whether you learn that skill or excel that skill after the injury has happened or before the injury is to happen will define whether you are having a prehab or rehab.
Right.
Okay, so many a times we have clients who come to us after the injury has already happened, right? So that means in those specific cases, we work onto their pain management, we work onto their movement management, and we see to it their muscles, their joints, and their movement patterns learn a new skill or improve onto the existing one.
Wow.
Right? So that means we are talking about rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation
Right?
mostly.
Now, if we do the same process before the injury sets in, okay, it
Okay.
will be called a prehabilitation. Now, in prehab, particularly, we forecast injuries.
Right.
Okay. Now, injury forecasting is dependent mainly on two factors. One is what is the biomechanics of the sport.
Right.
Okay. So, naturally, for endurance athlete, it will be endurance and continuing that sustained movement for that specific joint, right? And same way for a power lifter, it will be basically strength, which is dependent on to the time, the duration, right? So, we need explosive strength there, right? So, depending on what's the nature of that sport, nature of that game, and the client's current biomechanics and strength, flexibility, mobility, all these parts, the prehab is customized.
Okay.
Okay. So you may be knowing that, few of the clients are very good in specific sport. They excel in specific sport and they fail in the exactly opposite type of sport, right? As we say that, training is game specific, right?
Right.
It is sport specific. So in prehab also we see to it that the prehabilitation is done sport specific or injury
Injury
specific,
specific.
right? So depending on what injuries we may forecast in that client, we have to avoid them. Okay, and then you can naturally imagine that when a person is going prehab, he or she can actually save onto lot of time
Okay.
and can save lot onto money.
Money.
Okay, because otherwise going for rehab can be very painful and it can be very strenuous, right? When we talk about prehabilitation, there are multiple factors which we have to take care. So the first factor is strength, but strength comes after we are talking about flexibility and mobility. Okay, and these two are different. Okay, many people just misuse these words, because flexibility means we are talking about flexibility of a muscle, that how much a muscle can get stretched between its origin and insertion, and mobility is basically a range of motion for the joint, right? So like how much joint is moving, okay, in the given anatomical range, right? Now, when these two factors are taken care of, and when we actually improve the flexibility and mobility for a sport specific goal, it becomes very easy to improve onto the strength of a stabilizer.
Wow.
Okay. Now, what stabilizer is, and many people miss on to that. Not only coaches, but sometimes even physios also miss on to this point, that stabilizers are the most important part when we are talking about prehab. Okay. Because here and they are not talking about just the prime mover. To give you an example, like to raise a shoulder up, we would use deltoid as a muscle, right? But for deltoid to perform better, for deltoid to have its maximum efficiency, the deltoid is supported by one of the muscle which is in the mid-back, retractors, right? If retractor strength is poor, the deltoid cannot perform to its full extent. Okay, so if I'm avoiding the retractor strengthening or stabilizer strengthening, and if I just keep working onto the deltoid strength, I would probably never achieve those results. Okay, and which is why having this clarity and planning the prehab accordingly makes a lot of sense. Prehab also means that we have to reduce onto the tensions in the muscles, and they come from lack of recovery and stresses, and which is why prehab is like you're preparing yourself so much that you can actually avoid injuries which are avoidable.
So, ma'am, that was really great. Segment one regarding prehab over rehab. Let's jump on to segment number two, the mind in your muscle, or let's say in your body. So, being a coach, many of the times I tell to my clients as well, okay, connect your mind to your muscle so that you will be able to feel the movement really well. Let's say I'm doing a shoulder overhead press. I'll tell them to feel your deltoid muscle so that the movement will be crystal clear in your mind, and once the memory has been registered in your muscle, it never forgets. Okay, but there are certain traumas which are unseen or which are not being able to captured by the body. So can you elaborate those terms really well?
Yeah, sure. Actually, this is one of my very favorite topic, and it is generally missed, especially when we are training athletes and even in our overall urban lifestyle. Okay, because it is proven now scientifically that we do store our emotions in the muscle.
Okay.
Okay, and which is why this term, which is mind in your muscles, okay, is so common. Typically, when these pains arise, they are called psychosomatic pains. Psycho mean they are coming from mind, and soma is basically body. Okay. So what that means is we store lot many stresses, then our limiting beliefs, our fears, stresses in our muscles. Okay. To give you an example, there are times when athlete is not very sure of his opponent. He would have some or the other discomfort in the body. Right, you may be having many clients complaining that, right? And if you see physiologically, if you see biomechanically, you cannot really pinpoint any specific reason to have that pain.
Absolutely.
Right, typically we say that the joints which are in pain, which are giving out that discomfort, are very specific to that individual. Okay, so if for example a tennis player is there and he is basically facing a very strong worthy opponent, and if he is in self doubt, okay, that whether I would be able to get to a successful level, that person might for example have a discomfort in lower back. Now the same person, okay, if he is if he has to give exams, or if he's running late somewhere, some other life challenges, may also experience lower back pain.
Right.
because that's the pattern.
Oh.
Okay, so we all store our stresses, we all store our emotions in specific areas and specific muscles in the body, and addressing that is extremely crucial, because otherwise I feel all these physiotherapy and physiological changes will not really get us the results which we expect. I would like to do a quick practical demonstration to you.
Oh, that's
Okay,
great.
so, like you mentioned that, when you are working out with clients and you tell them that, you focus on to deltoid, right? A specific muscle in the shoulder. When you're training that, you want your client to focus on that muscle and get the exercises done. And you must have seen the results are amazing,
Yeah.
right? The other side of it is having a stress, right? Now, how to identify if there are any stored emotions in the muscles? Okay, so for this, we ask our clients to simply close the eyes, okay, and see if we are storing any tension in the body. Okay,
Wow.
so I would like it if you can participate in this quick experiment.
Definitely.
Okay, so just close your eyes and just focus where you are storing your stress. It could be your head, neck, it could be shoulders, it could be lower back, it can be gut, it can be knees. You might feel that there is little bit of stiffness, little bit of the muscle which is holding you back. It may not be pain, it may not be discomfort.
Right.
Can you,
I can feel near my neck section.
in your neck section?
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you. Now just open your eyes. Would you like to release this discomfort?
Yeah,
Right?
definitely.
So, Pratik, I know that you've been working on a very regular basis, right? Your workouts are regular, you do flexibility exercises, you do stretching exercises, you do strengthening exercises. Still, there is this discomfort or the stiffness present, right?
Right.
And this is not just coming from exercise part. Okay, it is not just coming from biomechanics. It is because we are just feeling that discomfort because we are storing those emotions in the neck in your case, correct? Now, very quickly, I would like you to look up and just see how far can you go if you go for a neck extension. Okay, just mark that point for yourself and relax. Okay, now you know like how far could you go, right? Now I want you to very quickly close your eyes and I'm going to give you 3 counts wherein you're going to do a deep breathing. It's called a breath work, okay?
Okay.
And breath works help us in a great way to reduce any myofascial tensions.
Arre wow.
Okay, so we are going to do that. So very quickly, just sit straight, relax your body, and just do a deep breathing for the count of 3. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath for 3 counts. 1, 2, 3. Start exhaling. If you want, you can exhale through your mouth. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath in exhalation. 1, 2, 3. Relax. One more count. Breathe in for the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3. Start exhaling again for the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And hold your breath for the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Relax. Okay? Now you can open your eyes and just do the neck extension again, which you did before these 3 counts. Can you feel that your neck extension has gone up?
Yeah, from I guess the roof, one point was been focused at another one slightly extension can be
Yes.
felt.
Right?
Okay.
This is because we all store the stress, we all store the emotions in the front fascia. So there are different areas in the bodies which are identified. Now you can imagine if we can combine these breathwork techniques
Wow.
along with
Yes.
our flexibility and mobility exercises, they are going to give us immense results. Okay, and which is why when the client is coming to us with mobility issues or with flexibility issues, there's no point in just going for stretching exercises or just going for foam rolling. I'm not saying that they are not good. They are equally good, because without that you would not be able to achieve the physical result,
Physical
the
aspect.
biomechanical result, right? They're equally good. But parallelly, if we can reduce the stress in the muscles, that is going to be a game changer. And with this, when we are basically integrating mind and body, okay, the results are awesome. And many competitive athletes, many successful athletes actually perform these techniques in their training, in their coaching, and that is how they get the best results.
That's amazing, ma'am. Super.
Thank you.
So, ma'am, in the previous segment, you just mentioned about psychosomatic link.
Yes.
But recovery is also a part of a training, right? So, but many of the times, people or let's say an athlete, there is a term called no pain, no gain, or no days off.
Yeah.
So, how can you link this psychosomatic link to that part?
Wow, that's a very good question. So I generally say that recovery is not after the training. Recovery is a part of training.
Right.
Okay, it has to be a part of training. Okay, because if we go by a mentality of no pain, no gain, overall what's going to happen is that client, that athlete would not be performed for a very long time. Okay, now what happens is that in recovery, we have to see to it that the client gets recovered completely from a physical and a mental aspect. Now, if you talk about a physical recovery, there are multiple factors and they would look very generic, but they are very powerful. Okay? Something like having a good night's sleep.
Yes.
Okay? It's so underrated. So underrated in athletes, because many a times what happens is once the season is over, they would either lie down on couch, scroll onto the social media, or would hang out. That's fine. I'm not against it. But make sure that you have utilized your body's resources, your mental and physical resources, to an extent wherein now if you don't, replenish them, they would go into a burnout. Right?
Okay.
And which is why having a good night's sleep, especially in your off time, off season, is extremely crucial. And this is not only just to recover a muscle, but this is also to stabilize the hormonal imbalances. Okay? You can imagine when we are on the field, the hormones like adrenaline, hormones like cortisol are very high. Right?
Absolutely.
These come from a sympathetic nervous system and they are actually for our fight and flight response. But if these hormones remain consistently higher, they are going to have lot of detrimental effects on the body. In fact, we know many of our clients who were, doing amazingly well when they were into their sporting career. But after they have left the sport, they've either gained weight or have got lifestyle diseases. Right? This is because in sport, you do need these hormones, but they need to be utilized in a very right way. Right?
In short, in an effective manner, we must be utilizing them, whether it is in season or off season. Okay, basically the recovery must be happening off season, but not just by lying down, but you should be taking a very good sleep, which is very underrated, like you mentioned these days.
Yes, absolutely. And then along with sleep, something again which is very missed onto is called active recovery. Okay, so there are so many athletes, or in fact weekend warriors I've seen, they are either on field or on game and they are off field.
Right.
Okay, now there has to be somewhere a middle ground. Okay, so that means when you are not performing in any sport, you're not playing a certain sport, you're not participating in any competition, that means what you need to do is you still need to keep your body active. Okay, now why people take rest is obvious, is because when you are working out, when you're training, you actually have tears in the muscle fibers.
Definitely.
Right? And to heal those muscle fibers, we take rest. But if we keep resting, what will happen? The joints will go into stiffness.
Stiffness mode.
And to avoid that stiffness, many go on the other side of this pendulum, which is not resting at all. Because naturally the thought is that if I take rest, my body will become stiff and then my performance will go down. Right? Definitely. So better not to take rest. So then they go into overtraining. Right? So to avoid that also, active recovery or active movements are equally important. So that means they have to move, but at a lower intensity. And that time focus more on to flexibility mobility part, and even the breath work which we practice right now is going to be very helpful, because that will help you releasing all the psychosomatic pains also. So if we can use this recovery time to merge both these components, the results are awesome.
Okay.
Okay, because that takes your game to a completely next level. And not only that, you are happy with your performance.
Definitely.
Because I feel that's the most important part for any athlete or for any sports enthusiast or fitness enthusiast, that he or she should be happy in the activity which they are doing.
Definitely.
Okay,
Right.
I'll tell you, I have few athletes. In fact, I had one client who had taken a resolution that he would run 21 kilometers every day for 21 days. Okay, and this happened on the 1st Jan. Okay, because he thought that, I will take all these running resolution and I will start running. Now, what happened is by day 15th, he had severe pain in his heels. And we were like, okay, you would probably need to slow down. You're not giving time to your body to recover.
Recover.
See, what happened is with mental strength, he could carry on. Frankly speaking, he could complete 21 days. But after 21 days, he was in such miserable pain that actually he had to take physiotherapy for next 2.5 months, because there was so much trauma to the muscles, so much trauma to the fat pad. So we can actually avoid all these injuries. Like I said, that whatever is preventable, why suffer from it, right? Just
Definitely.
take active recovery time and go ahead and perform better. So that's the whole key about it, and that's, I feel, is the most important
Component.
component, and especially that is where even your part as a coach comes in.
Yes, it's like basically not to overtrain your muscle. You should be, means goals must be kept, but in a very good note where you can manage your workload at the same time. The recovery has been taking on a healthier route rather than haywire note.
That's right.
That's good, ma'am.
Yeah.
To mention, okay, that's where my part come in. So as an SNC, there is some lacking condition. Means I have basically asked this many of the medical practitioners, ki, how can SNCs and physiotherapists collab or integrate or work together? Since we work on performance, we work on enhancement of that performance, plus we overlook their strength and their conditioning part. At the same time, you guys, you work upon basically their movement pattern, their rehabilitation, at the same time their prehab as well. So both worlds are way too different, but yes, they can be integrated. But how can they be integrated where there is a, means I personally feel there is some blockage which has been there, or there is a gap which has not been fulfilled. So how can we breach those gap?
You're absolutely right, Pratik. And I feel that is basically a need of an industry, need of a fitness industry and a sports industry. Because many a times the athlete or a client would see that a coach is the one who would push him or her to get better performance, and physiotherapist is the one who would stop him or her from doing something crazy,
Right.
right? So it is not like we are stopping the movements and you're pushing for the movements. We are both having the same intention, that that person, that athlete should perform better and should be successful, right? Now, I would like to give you a perspective wherein, how these fields can integrate. It starts with having a clear communication and having the right expectations set for the clients. Because when athlete or a client is reaching out to a physiotherapist, okay, I understand that my role is into a prehabilitation and rehabilitation and working on to the biomechanics, flexibility and a mobility.
Definitely.
But when this part of biomechanics is taken care of, I have to hand over the client to a coach,
Yes.
because I'm not an expert in improving into the performance. I'm not an expert in getting that kind of strength, that endurance from the client. Secondly, we are in the medical field wherein our work is basically to safeguard the injuries,
Yes.
right? And then your field, the work is to, excel at that movement, excel at that biomechanics, excel at that performance.
Definitely.
Now, if these boundaries are clear, it is very easy for the client to choose when to visit which mentor.
Yes.
If I start saying from tomorrow that, okay, great, I am going to be helping you to improving on to your training, I'm actually overstepping my boundaries. Or if a coaches say that, okay, I am the one who will help you with the rehabilitation, you're overstepping your boundaries. Because with this, what happens is there's no clear picture, and both are talking about same things, but from a completely different point of
Different
view.
point.
And that is very confusing for the clients, for the athletes, and which is why most of the times either athletes, they would go and talk to coaches and follow what they are saying, or to a physiotherapist and they would follow what the physiotherapist is saying.
Yes.
And in fact, if you see in the industry, there is a lot of conflict,
Absolutely, there.
right?
So many of the times, I personally do observe that certain movements are being restricted by the physiotherapist. But the thing is that the rehab is already been done. There is a need to regain those strength,
Yes.
but there is a block. So tackling those block is one of the very crucial point. That's what I feel. As a medical practitioner, you being into that role, you need to push the client to that phase wherein you need to tell them ki, yes, you have to do a strengthening part on a very healthy pattern.
Absolutely. So, Pratik, we have had few clients, mutual clients,
Yes.
and that is exactly even like we have worked together. That once the initial rehab part is over, I have told the client that listen, like my role right now in your case is over.
Yeah.
Now we have to just work onto the prehab part wherein we keep checking the biomechanics, but all the strength conditioning part and improving onto the muscular and overall movement performance now goes in Pratik's
Yeah.
side. And with this, what has happened is you know that we have had so many success stories because of that,
Yes.
right? And the clients are happy because we know that our roles are predefined, right? It is not like one person is stopping and one person is pushing, right?
Yes.
And this, what this particular approach does, not only the client is very open to share his or her problems, but overall the sports career longevity goes up. You know that
Definitely.
in sports or in any many of the athletes, they are at the highest performance at the at peak of their career, but sometimes they have to fade out because there is no collaboration in the coach and a physiotherapist, right? But if this can be achieved, the sports career length
Will be very
will
great.
be much higher. And I feel that that is how that communication is the strong base how we can go about it, and understand that what our boundaries are, what our limitations of profession are.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not saying that's a limitation of a person, that's a limitation of a profession, and we have to accept that. And based on that, if we collaborate, I think we have only generated so many success stories, so I think that
Yeah,
can
yeah,
be
that can be a great achievement.
great
Michael,
achievement.
I'll be sharing with you guys as well. So, thank you so much, ma'am, for giving your expertise at the same time, covering basically the all topics which I was in need of, the prehab part, the mind and muscle connection. At the same time, recovery, why exactly is it important, along with your psychosomatic link, connecting with those recovery part plus the collaboration node. So for the audience, in order they wanted to reach to you, where can they reach out?
So, thank you, Pratik, for giving me this opportunity. It was great talking to you. If you have to reach out to me, you can definitely log on to our website. The name of the website is curaphysiotherapyclinic.com, and you will get all the information about us and how the physiotherapy even can be integrated with coaching and other mind body parts. So I wish you the best for your next podcast. You're doing an amazing work. We are followers and we are
Yes.
getting really inspired by the work which you're doing. So thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much, ma'am. That was really a great information, madam. Okay, so thank you so much for your valuable time. Guys, in order to follow or in order to get much more additional information about such topics, you can follow to our channel. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment regarding my channel as well. Thank you, everyone.